Hello everyone, I'm here, and we are casting, I am casting, because there is no we today, I am casting the Olimoleague. We're hopping right into the game. I get Ryung versus Reality, and he needs a pause, whatever that works out, because now I can talk about things, I guess. Whatever. That was gonna be a boss intro, Ryung, and then whatever. Oh, well that's interesting. I don't know why he needs out. It was very rude of him. But that's what happened. So I don't know what was up with that. But let's pretend that didn't happen. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Olimoleague. It is the monthly finals. And I just was going to another lobby and whatever. Hi cats. Would you like to join me? Okay. I didn't even check. Maybe one of them wasn't Terran. I don't know. It's Frozen Temple. It's maybe that was the case. I don't know. I'm talking in Korean. But yeah, so we have the top 8 players from the weeklies dueling it out here. Now we have 2 players missing that were in the running for the points, Neeb and Armani. If you weren't around Saturday, morning, afternoon, whatever, then you did not see the qualifying matches, the tiebreaker matches that FearDragon and I covered that showcased Pet and... hold on. It was a Protoss. Hurricane. Pet and Hurricane getting through to replace them. So Neeb's in Mexico, basically, like right now, everyone's traveling, if you've seen Twitter. And then Armani apparently doesn't really play StarCraft 2 anymore, which kind of sucks, because I thought he was on the up and up, but I guess not much to do after Pro League ended, so oh well. And we have the replacements here. So I know a lot of people were looking forward to seeing Neeb, especially because the StarCraft 2 Twitter might have tweeted about Neeb, which I don't know, they try, but they do not get all the information sometimes, so oh well. But he is not here. He cannot play. He's probably literally on a bus right now, or in a hotel with crappy internet. I don't know. Ah, okay, so one of them had to adjust his mouse and keyboard and whatnot, so that's what's taking a little while longer now as well. Good deal. I have a cat on my arm now, so I will be doing everything one-handed. Rifkin is still at PAX. Well, he's still in Seattle. I mean, PAX is done now, but still in Seattle. And as such, not gonna make it home in time to be here, because it's like, you know, 3 in the morning over there on the West Coast. Damn it, Reality. I think it's Ryung, he needs to fix his equipment. Alright, now they're good. Reality was confusing me. Anyway. So I'm solo casting. FearDragon was supposed to join me, but he was unable to go to sleep, and mind you, you know, he could have come in and, you know, slowly crashed, but he also has to work today, pretty sure, because it's Tuesday, it's on a holiday, and even though he goes to work at like 10 or something like that, because he has a cool IT job, whatever, he, you know, it's still gonna be 3 to 7 or 8, and that's rough if you haven't gone to sleep. So I don't really mind solo casting. Hopefully you guys don't mind it as well. I don't know. I want to remind everyone, I guess, before we get into the intros, that not only can you watch this match here, but there are at least 2 other streams going on. So there's a German stream for TvT, And of course, the Korean stream, you can check out the Korean stream at twitch.tv/Olimoleague to see the production values that come with being partnered with Twitch Korea. So you can actually see these guys live in the studio. They're casting Symbol vs. Hurricane right now. So you can go there and check out the next match, or check out the production, or just listen to Korean casters if that's what you want to do. And I mean, I suggest at least checking it out. We wanted to have the cameras set up for feed for us, but unfortunately that was kind of being worked out with Rifkin, and I'm not really sure where they landed on how they're going to do it, to be honest. So, unfortunately, it was too late to get it set up with me. But, oh well. We're just going to do it the way we've been doing it for a year and... God, how long? Someone else do the math on that. Thank you to KushKing1387 for the 813 sub. In the top left, on Frozen Temple, in game number 1 here, it is the red Terran, Ryung. And in the bottom right, as the blue Terran, he's Reality. Yeah, I thought about hopping into, you know, Symbol vs. Hurricane, you know, because it's like the only non-TvT, am I right? So, I thought about it, but since the other two streams were casting it, I figured you guys can get your fill, and then we'll come together anyway for the semifinals, and it'll be fine. I know that Kush King wasn't the first sub today, so I don't know why Twitch Lawyers didn't pick anything else up. But Olivia, yeah, Olimoleague resubbed at the very beginning for 24 months, and then Lilin Sweden is what we always guess, as resub for 3 months. So thank you very much for that, and sorry it doesn't show up on Twitch alerts because it's being a butt or something. Yeah. So, of course, starting off with the TvT, it's going to be probably TvT Fiesta, as Olimoleague usually is, but the winner of this will face the winner of Hurricane and Symbol, which I think either way is going to be really cool. Ryung did open up with a bit of a, you know, a one-base opener here, not the latest command center ever, but still later than what Reality went for, and he does have a lot of units to work with, like a lot of important units compared to what Reality had. Reality's timing on those Hellions pretty perfect, though. He had the wall off on the top as well, so there's no chance for Ryung to get the better shots that maybe could have snowballed this. And Reactor Hellion should have done the you know, work anyway, because Ryung's only getting one at a time. Following up with a Siege Tank and maybe a Medevac, maybe a Viking. Ryung's Reaper did get in there enough to see that it is going to be, you know, Starport, but it's always going to be a 1-1-1, right? Like, I don't think any Terrans go for a bio build. You had Marine King try and, like, hit Heart of the Swarm, but I don't think it exists anymore. Maybe I guess there's, like, Cyclone builds nowadays, like factory-based builds, but you're gonna assume it's a Starport. It's just the, you know, what do you assume is coming out of that Starport? So, for Ryung, it's gonna be a Medevac, and for Reality, it is going to be a Viking. It's already out. Where'd you go? There you are. Yeah, you can see. So, I mean, it makes sense. Reality had that faster command, so he's going to play a little more defensive. Just overall, kind of what your game plan usually is. You stick to one thing and you kind of run with it. So, for him, as long as he defends, he'll have a bit of an SEV lead. His economy has probably been a little bit better, having that saturation. You know, not full saturation, but still a little bit more saturation on the low ground, a little bit faster. He's supply blocked right now. I caught that, Reality. I saw that. But this push is very scary. Hellion defense versus Reality's going for mech is really difficult to actually hold with. Like, I remember back in the day when I would do Hellion openers, and I wouldn't go to mech because I'm not a mech player, but I would do Hellion openers, and to defend against tank pushes with them requires a lot of finesse. Now, Reality should have that finesse, where I did not, but it still can be a little difficult. Of course, that tank, very hard to get rid of. The Marines go down pretty quickly to the Hellions, there's just enough of them. The Medevac also goes down to the Viking, and the Raven even helped out, I think, with an auto turret, but I missed it. But unfortunately goes down to the Cyclone, which is actually, I think, great, like, better for Ryung. You know, he lost a tank and a Medevac, and Reality lost, like, his Hellions and a Raven, so it actually probably was more like an even trade. Yeah, actually, look at the resources lost. Ryung just barely losing out in that. If only he was able to save maybe the Medevac, you know, that might have been an option just to, you know, basically hightail it out of there as soon as you got pretty low. Because there's only one Viking. That was going to die that quickly, but he wanted to try and micro the tank to the best of his abilities to get all that nice little splash and all the Hellions. And he took out a lot with him. But reactoring Hellions not so difficult for reality. It's other units that are more expensive to replace, like the Raven, which he's actually bothering to replace, which is a little bit interesting. I mean, point defense drone will be good later on. Auto turret harassment's always pretty good, but it is one of those units that usually you're just gonna, you lose it. It's a bummer, but do you really want to replace it? Usually not, because the starport's too busy building other things like Vikings or medevacs. Not in this case though. Ryung sees the Raven again, too, which, it doesn't tell him much. He might have to worry about, like I said, harassment in the back lines, but it's going to be more like, okay, now I have to really worry about him getting air control, which sometimes is a given for mech players, sometimes not. It really depends on what their style of play is. In reality, I don't know what it is. Like, he has always been the type to go for mech, like he could go for mech, as opposed to some other players who just would never go for mech. And Legacy of the Void, which has been out for like a year and a half, mind you, so it's been a while. But lately, as he comes back into the Olimoleague, it seems like all Reality does is mech versus Terran. So, I mean, he's an interesting one to watch, but ooh, look at this! Now, Ryung is pretty damn good at TvT. I don't know if you guys watched his run in the GSL, I'm pretty sure it was. I literally watch these tournaments, like, I've actually been watching it for the past couple of months. Unlike the first seasons, and I still cannot keep track of which one I'm watching. Sometimes I remember who cast it, and that's basically how I remember it for the GSL or SSL. But anyway, yeah, Ryung's pretty damn good at TvT. In fact, for a while he was a TvT sniper, and I think he could still have that name to him. But Reality's pretty good. I mean, this could have been easily a semifinal and maybe even a final, depending on the matches otherwise. Of course, Byun's in here, and everyone always predicts he'll get to the final, but this is it should be a really good matchup. But Ryung, he's going for the fast transition into mass air. This is like shock and awe type of stuff, right? For Reality, there's a certain point where he's just like, okay, like, we're on 3 bases, that's fine, that's great. I need to get to a certain tank count. I need Hellions to defend my tanks, and then I'm probably going to get to like 150 supply before I really have to start worrying about anything else, like a 4th base, pushing out, defending a big push, anything like that, or scouting. Because, usually the Terran player really has, what, 10, 11 minutes, that is on the clock, I don't know how he scans, where they're going to be pushing and poking and prodding until the mech player has enough SimCity, like missile turrets and stuff set up. But the lack of any of that is already a little suspicious, and it's a good thing that Reality scans. So first of all, we saw like a really quick 4th base, and was like, oh, is that your plan? Are you still gonna go bio? And then scans the main and sees that it is triple starport really early, and it's important that he scans this as soon as possible because he needs to get, anti-air. His Viking-Raven combo initially was pretty good, and in fact 6 Vikings, 1 Raven, but now we have Liberators as well, and they're going to try and siege up on the tanks. Reality just hightails it out of there. The point defense drone is really important. It soaks up one entire volley here. Does he have another one? Oh, I thought maybe he would, but auto turret could help out too, but man, 6 to 9 Vikings went down real quick. That didn't really look like he was only down 3 Vikings. Point defense drone confirmed useless. But the Widow Mines were an excellent choice. Hellions apparently Hellbats got into that natural base, started killing a couple SCVs here and there. And Reality's gonna go ahead and like, this is very like the only thing I can think of that's this that you could see this little tank run by with would be like mech and Brood War, TvT and Brood War, because you could only go mech. But it's kind of funny to see this. It's like, okay, you have all. You know what it is? It's like when roaches counterattack against mutas. That's what it looks like. It's like, okay, they're not really supposed to be out here against something that could, that hard counters them. They literally can't shoot up, but if that's the only thing that's going to get them off your back and off your 3rd base, then that's the way to do it. So it does that. He accidentally loses 1 or 2 tanks, with the AI, but I bought time. Ryung really is going for just pure air here. Usually, even with, you know, triple starport production and now in 4 bases, you can also produce some bio, but nope, not even bothering with bio upgrades. And it's very quickly going into air versus air as well. So reality, of course, his initial defense, whoopsie, his initial defense had to be something that came out very, very quickly, which at the time was Widow Mines, because he had, you know, reactors for his Hellions. And he's still going to go for Widow Mines, but he also has the option of competing in the air war, you know, Vikings versus Vikings, Liberators versus Liberators. I think he also got a single Thor. He did, yes. And that will outrange Liberators without their range upgrade, which they don't have. So that's looking pretty good for reality. And of course, the splash and the Vikings will also be helpful should it get to that point. But the Widow Mines are doing work anyway. Without bio on the ground to stop the advancement of these key units, Ryung doesn't actually have that much of an answer. His answer seems to be right now, go for as many Liberators as possible and hope that I overwhelm him. But that's pretty hard to do with Liberators, you know? They either attack ground or air, not both, and are gonna have a tough time, you know, having to siege up and then just gonna immediately sniped by either the ground or the air. Actually, this has really turned around on Ryung, I would say. He'll definitely win the air war should he take it, but those Widow Mines are certainly adding a complication. Okay, so his ground is gonna be tanks. It really looks like they both went mech when technically they didn't. I mean, I guess Ryung didn't ever go bio because he never got stim, so it's not correct to say that he didn't go mech, but he went air mech immediately, and reality tried to go ground mech first. I mean, believe it or not, this is the first time since, like, Heart of the Swarm where you would see fast transitions to starports that I've witnessed such fast air mech versus mech, right? Usually there is even like 1 or 2 minutes where the bio player has Marauders and Stim and Combat Shields and tries to do something. But this was really just, let's skip all that and go directly to the air, which, had he, you know, miscalled the type of game reality was playing, he probably would have died. But of course, he had some pretty decent scouting. And they do seem to be friends, by the way. They're talking a lot in the lobby, so they probably play together. Oh, that is a lot of Vikings. Oh, geez. The Thor is in his single target mode, so he's helping out against the Liberators, but not really doing anything for the Viking counts. It's 13-17 in favor of reality, though. A Liberator helped, and the Thor went down, so now it's 9-9, 9-8, 9-8. Like, this is actually very, very close. Without a Thor, without a Widow Mine backup here, reality ended up losing the air war. I mean, losing is kind of like an air quotes, right? Because he's still even on Vikings. But he does have to be pushed back, and now the Widow Mines are here, so Vikings, they can't really do very much. Imagine this game on the new patch, by the way, everyone. There's been no medevac drop. Well, there's been one medevac drop with tanks, but that's not going to change. Imagine the Vikings landing on the armored units after the fights are done. Like, they're going to do so much. Oh, that Planter's gonna go down unless he gets all of his SCVs to repair it. He takes the fights away from the Widow Mines initially, which wasn't bad, but he does not repair it in time. Now, Ryung still has this base and this base, and he actually is banking quite a lot of minerals, but, you know, the problem is he's down 30-40 army supply, and reality's really starting to win here. If only he knew about these extra bases. 14 SCVs went down because of, well, they're trying to repair, so of course they're gonna go down. And it's even workers, so that's not so big a deal. What was... oh, it was a Widow Mine. Alright, so the Widow Mine might be able to tell that it was an SCV, at least trying to go build a command center, but maybe not. Both scanning for each other's armies, not finding them. That's gonna be the main orbital moving over there. It's kind of tricky, like, sometimes when you play against mech, you figure an orbital might be better anyway, since you can lift if the siege tanks siege up, but obviously it's more of an air game, so that's not gonna super help you a lot. And, this will be at risk for, like, Hellion run-bys, which, at, you know, at any point, reality could make 4 Hellions, and, you know, if Ryung really isn't paying attention to his natural or his third, and he actually can't really do much about it, he'd have to siege up his Liberators to take care of Hellion run-bys, and that's kind of slow. That could do a lot of damage. But reality's not exactly swimming in money, so even though the thing is about mech is always said, like, oh, they need gas more than minerals, it's not ever, like, they seem to be pretty even in Legacy of the Void. You actually do need both. In fact, you can see that he's actually banking more gas than he has minerals. Almost maxed out. It's a little supply blocked, though, and just so much more army than Ryung. Now, some of that is in Widow Mines, which are literally, like, you know, one shot and then they're donezo for a while, but they do have drilling claws, and apparently they reach that far, so the Liberators were out of luck there. Again, imagine the new flippin' Vikings. This would be so cool. But even without the new Vikings, they still take on the tanks. Over here, though, Thors are definitely going to be able to take on the Liberators. Widow Mines help out as well, and I'm surprised that Ryung never got Liberator range. I still think the Widow Mines would have been a counter to them, but you would consider that 17 minutes almost into this game, and you know, you've had 5 starports, you think you would have gotten it. Liberators are in their splash mode, but unfortunately just not that impressive here. All of Ryung's Vikings are very low, and more SCVs are going down. The command center is going to go down. Scans go down for Ryung to see what Reality has, and that's going to be game. Very long game. Almost 17 minutes. But damn. Reality. Not taking any of that air superiority shit. The Widow Mines are really cool. That was enjoyable to watch, like Fantasy, for instance, bring them back out. I think he was like one of the first widely seen televised match of Widow Mines against Viking Battlecruiser, I think it was. And that was awesome, but Reality told me Frost. I guess he's communicating for Ryung here. Yeah, Frost will be another map where Reality can certainly and probably will go for mech. I'm not sure if Ryung's gonna try that air mech thing again. Like, I think if it surprises your opponent, you're in really good situation, but why would you tell me the map and then make the lobby? I ask you. Swear to God. Thank you to Muffin Maestro for the 19-month resub. Not solo casting with Kitty. No, I'm not. He left. It's probably too warm. Sit in my lap. He's just chilling right next to me. Thanks to Sleepy Cod for the 26-month resub. Never stop. Never stop what? Where is Rifkin? He's still in Seattle as far as I know. I think his train comes back today. If it came back late last night, that's still understandable as to why he wouldn't be here, because it would be 3 a.m. and that'd be kind of extreme. Kind of the same reason, I guess, Fear Dragon isn't here. 3 a.m. his time as well. Both on the West Coast, and he has to work, you know, eventually. It would have been 7 hours, but you'd have to be up at 3 a.m. That's kind of tough. Actually, let's get the in-game screen on. That's pretty good, I guess. What is... I swear to God, Twitch is just messing the fuck up. Dominish, thank you for the 16-month resub. Can you put up a picture of Rifkin and pretend that he's muted? Well, technically I can do anything. Because I am an independent woman who don't need no co-caster, apparently. Oh my God, we saw this. Oh wait, no, never mind. Damn, I was all excited, but that's the first barracks. Darn. Alright, so on the top right on Frost, it is Ryung. And in the bottom right, as the Red Saren, it's Reality. I got all excited. I thought that was a second barracks. Because my concept of time is apparently really thrown off this morning. Because we saw such an interesting game yesterday for the Corsair Cup, where 2x vs 2x on Frost ended in what you would call a base trade if they could actually kill each other's buildings, but it would take forever with Reapers. So it was an SCV trade, but nah. Now it is going to be a bit different builds, so Reality goes for double gas, whereas Ryung sticks on just the one, so a Reaper expand for him. Ryung's gonna get the first scout though, which is kind of nice. Whereas Reality might not even be scouting at all with an SCV. It's a little bit risky because especially if you do something more aggressive, excuse me, like a one-base build, you do usually want to get your units immediately over to your opponent. But on the other hand, like one Reaper is not going to do very much against Ryung's one Reaper. 2 Reapers, you do want to be able to get over there, though, I would say. Oh, he saves SCV. And now he just has to kind of hope he knows where he's going. Apparently, he's going to go the right way, so kudos. And it's totally worth for this one to go scout, at least for the location, even though, again, Ryung has all the scouting information from the SCV, knows that his Reaper really shouldn't be out and about. Yeah, the chances of Reality scouting incorrectly is, you know, it's there. It's not something that you would really want to risk, because you want your SCV building your command center. The Reaper fight goes heavily in favor of Ryung, but Reality really wants to save the Reaper. Oh my god, he really wants to save the Reaper. He'd rather have that full health, you know, than absolutely dead, and maybe Ryung's Reaper a little bit injured, because of course his will just heal back up. Reality is not done. He is waiting for that Hellion. He's having... What is this going to go on to? The Tech Lab. So Banshee's following us up. And Ryung, that's the one thing that Ryung isn't sure about. So he knew this attack was coming, almost guaranteed, with the build that he scouted with the SCV. And, you know, he could have maybe saved one more SCV. That kind of sucks. But this is not the real threats, although it can sometimes snowball very quickly, as, you know, Ryung gets out here, gets one of the Reapers, not bad, and he has 2 more Hellions on the way, so he really shouldn't be taking that much SCV damage, but the fact that he lit Reality up into the main base and didn't have a wall off is kind of big. A grenade is going to mess up mining. No IC has gone down so far, I don't think. Almost, though. Oh, wait. Oh, that's right, when I'm using the game heart. Sorry, my bad. Because they made it. And I was like, how did the SCV not go down? That's amazing. Now, 5 SCVs went down, of course, plus the one that was right here. And that means that was okay, right? Like, now Reality has an SCV lead, but of course, he still doesn't have a command center, so that should be equalized with time. But what about that Banshee? There it is. Not have Cloak yet. And Ryung had a Viking specifically looking for it, which was, you know, you find this thing without Cloak and you get so much damage done to it already, it's almost not worth for them to continue attacking. It's worth for them to bring it back and repair it. And I wouldn't mind solves up a lot of these Hellions, which is good because Reality doesn't have anything else except that Banshee to defend with, but Focus Fire is on the weak Hellion. Ryung tries to pull it back. He's got a Viking chasing a Banshee here and a scan available, so he really shouldn't be losing so many SCVs, but a lot of them were at one-shot range because of the Hellions. Their big boon of them getting into that mineral line. And this is seriously not bad damage. He goes back into the scan as a Raven, so well. Could cancel this, because he does have the defense set up now, but he's going to go ahead and finish that. That is 13 workers killed. Reality looking pretty damn good in this TvT. As good as Ryung is in it, just Reality's looking a little bit better. Cyclone's now on the way. He's playing pretty defensive, and he might go for like a faster 3rd CC if he's going to play so defensive. And Reality is going to be going mech again, so if Ryung scouted that, which he did not, he'd know he has some time to make up his losses, as mech players aren't going to be moving out with that scary of a force before, you know, they're in the 100 range supply. You know, at worst, it's going to be a Blue Flame Hellion attack, which can be devastating, like, keep that in mind, but can also be kind of defended against, like, a bunker and, and a concave. Once Ryung has an army to talk about on the ground, which doesn't really have right now. Oh, I almost got that SCV. 14 workers killed. Cyclone actually can get taken on by oh my god, no! Well, I think that dies. Yeah. Cyclones do not have a lot of health, and unfortunately that was a really great bait. Raven at least doesn't cost him a scan to clean that up, but that Cyclone was going to be very useful. I was actually going to talk about how it's kind of scary to move it out, even against 3 Hellions, because it has such low HP, but oh well. Scans go down on both sides, so seeing Ryung go for Stim, now he knows that it's not going to be that fast starport type of build, and he also sees no 3rd CC, although it's possible it was over here. Reality's actually the one that goes to the faster 3rd CC on location, too, which is really safe for him. You know, he could have over-dedicated to the attack, or he could have been too scared of being attacked as well, like, you know, suddenly gone in the very defensive because he's the one that's been on the attack for so long. But instead, he just was like, you know, you only have these kind of at the time, he only had, what, the Cyclone, the Hellion, and the Viking control, right? That's what he scouted with the Hellions, and that's really not a scary army. Now it's getting a little bit scarier, but Ryung canceled Stim. Ooh. I thought that might be a possibility, but I didn't actually think he'd do it. Auto search we don't know too. Okay, good. Being pretty close, but goes in favor of Ryung there. I think the Raven was sniped. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. But Reality needs to get a second scout on his opponents. I guess he'll have to wait to scan, because... Well, I mean, if he scans, I guess Stim would still be researching. It's a pretty long upgrade. That is interesting, though. I mean, it's interesting twofold. Like, one, the whole trickery is always cool to see, right? But two, that Ryung was beaten kind of, like, handedly. Last game when he went for the starport thing. I'm surprised he does it again. Reality has such a faster third. He has more SCVs. His army's looking really good. And again, usually you have a good amount of time before a mech player really wants to move out. But I said, like, in the 100s, you can start thinking about it. If you're confident that they don't have a lot to defend with, then, you know, it's all up to you, right? But you usually want to wait till after 100. And Reality's only just barely breached past that. This looks like, you know, something a mech or a bio player could do, but the amount of Vikings, I would say, is a little suspicious. Like, 4 Vikings, because, you know, you had the little scuffle and then you remade 1 or 2, okay, fine, but this many? This has got to be suspicious to Reality. Oh, he's also still producing Vikings, you know, like, they both have since that attack, but I don't know if he knows it's really Ryung's intention to go for more starports. Oh, well, there you go. He scans. Now he knows. So, I wonder how Ryung will change it up this game. Will he go for faster Liberator range? Because that might have been able to help. A couple of times, you know, the Widow Mines got too far forward because tanks weren't defending appropriately. And a couple of times the... no, it was just most of the Widow Mines. And even then, like, the Thor is not supposed to be able to reach them easily, and it could at the time, and... there's a bunch of reasons to get Liberator range if you're gonna go for 5 Liberators at a time. 30cc is only just not coming down for Ryung. It's rough. It's rough, buddy. Drilling Claw is coming down pretty quick here. I mean, it's really... I mean, usually you would think the mech player has a hard time transitioning, because, you know, tanks take a long time to produce, and factories, and Hellions aren't that useful, but they're the thing that can be reactored out. But against what Ryung does, Widow Mines really are a great answer, and you will have the production set up to go for a lot of them very quickly. And in fact, he's without a lot of add-ons on his factories, and still getting 5 Widow Mines at a time, and 3 Vikings. So that's a double armory here. Only a single armory for Ryung. I'll fall behind in upgrades. Yeah, some cute little shenanigans with these tanks. I mean, remember, the tank count for Ryung is important. Well, not the tank count, like, he doesn't need a, you know, 10 or 12, but having any tanks whatsoever to provide a little bit of cover for his air against those Widow Mines is important. There's a lot of times where he didn't have that protection, and Widow Mines got right up against the Liberator, so that shouldn't really be so easy to do, even if it is possible. Ryung is just... I wonder why he's so opposed to going bio against mech. I mean, to be fair, he started off this game down with almost every regard. Last game, I don't think it was quite the same thing, yet he still went for the air. And I don't know if he's trying something new, if this is his preferred way to play against mech, if it's his preferred way to play against reality, or he really thinks this is the only way to go. I mean, you know, mind, like, in Heart of the Swarm, towards the end of it, people thought mech was the best composition to go for, just straight up. Like, if you're going bio, then you're kind of out of the loop. But I wouldn't say the same thing about Legacy of the Void, and Ryung has some really good bio play against mech, so... I just prefers to do this right now. There's that Widow Mine counts with Drilling Claws, and if the Vikings ever accidentally run over one of those things, it is just going to be game so quickly, because Vikings clump so easily, exactly like this. Oh my god, let the Widow Mines take it. Oh, shit! Okay, I thought the Widowmines were gonna take on the medevac, which is what I meant to say, but then all the Widowmines hit the Vikings, and now they're all like one shot. Oh, that's game. Ryung doesn't have an answer to the Widowmines. You know, a couple of tanks helped, but Reality's tanks took his on anyway, so that didn't only help for so long. GG. Oof. Reality takes it 2-0. And it will knock Ryung out of the running here. Apparently, Symbol Hurricane's also already done, so Symbol 2-0'd Hurricane. And that means Reality will go on to face Symbol. Gumiho 2-0'd Natural. And Byun and Pet, surprisingly, a TvZ, 1-1 right now. That is not what you would expect with Byun and his powerhouse name, and Pet without his powerhouse name. So, I don't know, good on him. See how that ends up, I suppose. We'll be taking a break now. I'm not sure which... I mean, I assume I'd be going to this first semifinal first, but sometimes we have to wait for both to be ready. I'm still not sure about that. Anyway, see you guys after this break. Wrong break. Correct break.